Hey guys, welcome back. As we have already learned about the bar plot and other plots, now we are going to learn about the scatter plot. That is really very important as respective of our machine learning algorithm and clustering algorithm. So the scatter plot actually shows the distribution of your data, how well your data is distributed, and with the help of that, we also try to find out the outliers in our graph. Okay, that in that perspective, it is like really important for us to understand how it actually works. So let's try to create a scatter plot on any kind of data. So for that, I'm just taking Iris dataset, that is very famous dataset. So for that, I'm just going on Google and searching Iris dataset GitHub. And after that, I will just going to a random repository, going here, clicking on the raw button. After that, I will just copy this link, will come back in my notepad, and here I will write iris as a variable and pd.read underscore csv. After that, we'll pass our link here. Yeah. Now, as you can see, iris data has been loaded in our system. Now, in this data set, we have actually the sepal length, sepal width, petal width, and species of that. Setosa, Virginica, versicolor, lots of like 3 to 4 category of flowers we have right now. Now we are going to plot a scatter plot into it. So first of all, let's create a figure size for it. plt.figure fig size equal to 8 by 10. That will work for us right now. 8 by 12. Let's take it as 8 by 12. And after that, we'll just write sns dot scatter plot, and here we'll pass our data. Right now, we have a column called x is equal to sepal length, and y we are taking as a petal length, petal underscore length, and data we are taking as a iris dataset. We are importing everything from iris dataset, so we'll write like this. Now, as you can see, the distribution of not 8 by 12 is perfect. Every time it happens, 12 by 8, it's good. Yeah. Now, as you can see, 5 by 10, last one, 5 by 10, 10 by 5, sorry. Hmm. Yeah, now it's perfect. As you can see, clearly it's making some dot points here. How it's making a dot points? Let's try to understand. First, what is happening? You have some x values here, like 0 0.2, 0 0.2 maybe, comma 0 0.5, comma 0 0.7. Suppose this is your x values of list. There is some y values like 1.32, comma 2.5, comma 3.6. So this is your x values of list. This is y value of your list. What is taking? First, it is taking x value. Suppose you are getting x value as a 0.2. So it's taking on the x-axis 0.2. Okay. After that, what it is doing? It is taking respective y value of that x-axis, x values. So for the 0.2, we have 1.2. So we'll make it the graph like that. For 0.5, we have 2.5. For 0.5, it will take like this. For 0.7, it will take like the y-axis like that. So that is the major thing that a scatter plot makes. But what we understand from this scatter plot? Okay, let's try to understand what we are actually understanding from this graph. So as you can clearly see, by drawing just a scatter plot, we are able to qualify like getting two similar groups, two kind of group. Just see, this is your first group. I can say this is my first group. This is my first group of data. And this is your second group of your data. This is your second group of your data. So what it is really showing to us, this is showing the distribution of your data, how well your data is distributed, how well your data is distributed. Okay, and see the points that you are seeing. Suppose this, if this point is little bit left toward left or higher toward the left, so these points we can consider it as a outliers because these are far away from our grouping of the data, from our clustering of the data. So these kind of thing we can understand from the scatter plot. We are getting some outliers kind of thing. We are getting the grouping or clustering of the data. So it is showing the distribution of your data. Okay. Now this really helps to in our unsupervised machine learning in which we perform the clustering algorithms. Okay, so what generally happen there, we try to plot the scatter plot and we try to find out the group of the data. After that we pass that group of the data as a key value in our algorithm. Okay, right now how many groups we are getting for this data set? We are getting two group. First one is this, second one is this. Okay, now we can use this two as a like clustering group, and after that we'll pass in our algorithm and will predict some more accurate result. Okay, so this is about your scatter plot. And yeah, same thing you can do. You can write x label for it, you can write y label for it, you can write title for it, you can color it, you can do a lot of changes into it, but that is not the real factor that we are here to understand about the graphical things. We are here to understand how this graphs actually works. Okay, now we have made this a scatter plot and you can play with it any data. Like let's try to make the scatter plot for SNS dot this data that we have printed, SNS dot scatter plot, and here we'll pass our x is equal to x, y is equal to y. Now, as you can see, whatever the points we have taken, it is just printing the exact replica of it on the graph. So we are taking 0.2 as a value, it's taking 0.2 as the axis value, and y value is 1.2 nearly. So for the 0.5, it is taking 2.5 as a value. For the x value 0.5, it is taking 2.5 as a value. For the x value 0.7, it is taking nearly 3.6 as a value. So these you can understand how the scatter plot is making, what is the real meaning of it, and how we can use it in our data visualization technique, and how we can implement in our machine learning algorithm. So it is really, really important for us to understand how it actually works. Okay, now let's try to apply it on the different columns also, like we have sepal width, petal length, petal width, and all this. So for that, what we are going to do, we are going to write it like this: for I in df iris dot columns. Okay, and for I in iris dot columns we'll get the list of the column name. Now in this we are just going to fix one column, and we'll make it like that: sns dot scatter plot, and here we'll pass x is equal to sepal length. X is equal to sepal length we are fixing, and other columns will make it like that: sepal length. Y is equal to, we are taking I value that we were taking with the loop. And yeah, after that we'll do plt dot show. Okay, what is happening? We just didn't pass the data. So let's pass the data is equal to iris. What is happening? Spelling mistake, guys. Yeah. Now, as you can see, we are getting some graph like this. This is our first graph. This is our second graph. This is our third graph. This is our fourth graph. Okay. And this is our fifth graph like this. Okay. It's taking the categorical values also. But let's try to understand this first graph. If you are able to understand this first graph, that means you are able to understand what the actual meaning of the scatter plot. Okay. So first graph is the graph between the sepal length and the sepal width. Sepal length and the sepal length. Just see sepal length and the sepal length. As we can clearly see, if the sepal length we are taking as a x-axis also, y-axis also, so both the values are the same now. So we'll get a linear line representation of the data. So it does not make any kind of sense like just plot. You just take x as a sepal length and y as a sepal length also. But for the understanding, just the values are the same. Both of the values are the same. Hence, you are getting as a linear line. Okay. Now the next thing, we are getting the data representation of sepal length versus sepal width. Yeah, there are different data. So as you can see, we are getting one cluster here and kind of one cluster here and some outliers here. So later that we can, by seeing just graph, we can tackle with the outliers and other stuffs, and you can get some information from the plotting. Okay, like that you're getting two cluster or two group here. I can easily qualify, consider it. This is the first cluster, this is the second cluster, or group you can call as this is the first cluster, this is the second cluster. Now here, this is also first cluster, this is also second cluster, and this is the data between the sepal length and species. As you all already know, this y-axis we are taking as a like categorical value. So for the each categorical value, there are some values. So we are just there here is just representing them. Okay. Now, this is all about your scatter plot and hope you understand about it. And guys, focus on this, plot the few graphs with your side also, and try to implement it with some other data set, like any kind of sales data set. That will be really help you to understand how actually the scatter plot is working and what is the actual mean of it. Thank you. We'll meet into the next video.